Bet that we gon' lift off like a jetpack. Time to tune in, not just speaking real facts. Right here is everything you need.
I don't hear anything,
This ain't
Sam.
no get rich quick thing. Create your own economy. Cause we ahead of the crypto curve. Yeah. Create your own economy. Let's get ahead of the crypto curve, yeah. Learn from the queen of crypto, your host, Najah Roberts, leading people out of financial slavery through Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. Create your own economy. Let's get ahead of the crypto curve. Learn to get left behind.
Good afternoon, and welcome to Ahead of the Crypto Curve, ladies and gentlemen, where we are creating Satoshi millionaires one day at a time, one family at a time, one Bitcoin at a time, one Satoshi at a time. And ladies and gentlemen, that means you. I am your host, Najah Roberts, and it is my mission in life to lead my people out of financial slavery. I don't just do this show to change the way you think about money, but to change the way you look at money and everything else around you, because it absolutely matters. Today is Wednesday, April 12th, 2023, and we have a couple of individuals whose birthday is today. Our cryptopians that have birthdays today are Stephen Lamzier, Debbie Lomax, Brandon Jennifer, and Netcha Lawson. I would like to say to each and every one of you, happy birthday. Have an incredible day. And I look forward to one day celebrating with you all. But this is a great day, Wednesday, April 12th. And so, ladies and gentlemen, there we are. And you know what? I am just going to start off with a quote, and it has nothing to do with cryptocurrency, but maybe it does, because we've got a lot of people standing out at the train station watching us get on the train. They're watching us load our bags. They're watching us put our bodies in seats, and they're standing back waiting to figure out if they're going to get on the train or they're going to catch the next one. So I'm just going to say, because I found a quote, I don't know who said the quote, it's not mine, but it says, if we wait until we've satisfied all the uncertainties, it may be too late. But I have devoted my life to uncertainty. Certainty is the death of wisdom, thought, and creativity. And so we have got to really open our ears, eyes, and minds to what is going on. You know, today, as I look at some more things that are happening and really trying to get our community understanding the different things that are going on in the world that are affecting our money and the valuation of our money called a dollar. I had to take a look today at OPEC because you know oil is a big deal. And so I think I'm going to have to take and spend the whole show really helping everybody understand what OPEC is, the history behind it, and why the president of Russia and the president of China just got together in a meeting. And I'll probably play it for you all tomorrow because I pulled it up and I was able to actually listen to it. But what they said verbatim was they were going to put an end to what happened 100 years ago. And then you know me, historically, I got to go back and see exactly what happened 100 years ago that they could possibly be talking about. And ladies and gentlemen, it has all to do with OPEC, which is the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries. And that OPEC is a permanent intergovernmental organization that was created at what was a Baghdad conference on September the 10th, and they regulate the oil. And so as the interest rates continue to climb. Remember, we're talking about our chairman, Jerome Powell, raising the rates, which curtails spending. And if we're spending, it makes us poor because we need to buy more. We need to spend more on the normal things that don't usually cost that much. So it's a way to siphon money from us. But what is taking place lately, and again, we'll get into a little more deep dive tomorrow. But I just wanted to open the show because I am with my mouth open when I do research to really just find out what these things mean and how interconnected they are. And we as Americans really have no idea how interconnected all these different groups and organized groups are. It's just incredible. But anyway, so OPEC has just decided if the interest rates are high and people are not spending as much because they're not going on airplane flights or they're not traveling, they're not doing all these things where they can charge this absorbent amount for petroleum and oil and all of these things, they'll just cut the supply. And as they cut the supply, it keeps up with supply versus demand, which still makes it higher, like it's a whole thing. So we're going to talk about that. But ladies and gentlemen, when we come forward, we are going to answer some questions that people have asked me specifically about Fed Now and what I think is happening with Fed Now. And we talked about this last year. So if you all need to hear our conversations about Fed Now, you can do that by going to KBLA1580.com and listening to some of our back shows. I'm sure you can find that. But more than that, a lot of people are asking about the price of Bitcoin and what I think it will do in the months to come based on what I see happening in this financial ecosystem. And so when we come forward, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have a great conversation. I don't have a crystal ball like Dionne Warwick, but I think I have a pretty good idea, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm feeling really good about where we sit if we are dollar cost averaging. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, when we come forward, this is KBLA Talk 1580.
Simplify the night and simply say it's like, oh, we're going to learn about Bitcoin. But it's so much bigger than that. The blackwallstreet.com was created by you and Hill Harper. Why?
Well, first of all, the money leaves our community right now in about 7 hours. And Hill and I recognize that if we don't do something in this new digital space, that the money is going to leave within 6 to 7 seconds.
I think one of the biggest surprises is just to see how many people, as you stated, here in the U.S. don't have access to just internet. Just basic things that we take for granted. And so I need to go back and rethink, look at and evaluate all these cities I just left and really see what blockchain programs we need to bring to make sure they get the internet.
It's expensive to be poor. Now, we can actually change that if we think about how powerful our spending is and how we use our dollars. And in particular, how we use our digital dollars. No. So I'm going to give it back to Najah Roberts, who is going to break down the reason why we need to use, particularly in our community, we need to use cryptocurrency as a means for building wealth and as a tool
just
for
watch
building
it,
wealth.
see what it does. But the only way you lose in Bitcoin is when you sell your Satoshis. Because I bought Bitcoin one time at the height, it was like $17,000. Then it slammed down to 4,000. And it stayed 4,000 for a painful year or so. And I'm telling you, it's painful because I felt like I lost that money. But now,
and you actually even have a camp to teach kids how to be financially literate in this new crypto world. So that's great. You could speak to us like those children. Yeah, because that's what we need.
Absolutely.
Let's start very basic. What is cryptocurrency? And then also with Walmart deciding that they're going to have their own.
All right. Welcome forward. Welcome forward. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am being asked, just really what I feel about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. And I have to continuously say that all coins are not created equal. And when you look at the cryptocurrency space, Bitcoin is just one of the over 30,000 cryptocurrencies out there. And I personally am not like a whole lot of other people who believe in all these different coins. I believe that every coin has its place depending on what people want it to do. um, and I'm saying what people wanted to do, the product or the project that the coin is attached to. Maybe that means a lot to you or a lot to them, and that is why people get involved in it. But if we're looking at money in the very near future, and I'm saying 5 to 10 years, we've got some time to go. Um, we really just need to hone in on the tech and really understand the scarcity of Bitcoin. In fact, Bitcoin as a commodity, ladies and gentlemen, and why I am so stuck on trying to reiterate over and over again about Bitcoin specifically is because there is only ever going to be 21 million of these coins. And if your family owns one of those coins, well, first we're starting off helping you become a Satoshi millionaire. Now, a Satoshi millionaire means you own 1 million Satoshis, which is the smallest increment of a dollar. And I had a question about that, so I'll kind of expound on that. So there are 100 million pieces of Bitcoin called Satoshis, just like there are 100 pennies in a dollar. So when you have 1 million Satoshis, that means that you are holding at least, especially right now, where are we? I'm looking at where we are so I can tell you how much that would be in today's money. You would have spent $290 becoming a Satoshi millionaire today because Bitcoin is at $29,854. And so to become a Satoshi millionaire, again, a fractional owner of a piece of Bitcoin would be $298. So let's just say $300. And so after you get that million, and this is what I suggest to my family members and my friends. So since you're my family members and my friends that are listening, I'll just share this. I'm not providing any financial advice, but some of us spend $300 at a restaurant. Why not forego Cheesecake Factory or BJ's? Because that's about what it costs to take 5 or 6, maybe 7, 8 people to BJ's or Cheesecake Factory or PF Chang's. Forego that, take $300 and buy yourself 1 million Satoshis. If you don't believe in what is going on, that the digital revolution is upon us, just get yourself 1 million Satoshis. But the ultimate goal, ladies and gentlemen, the ultimate goal is to hold one entire Bitcoin for me. That's my ultimate goal. And so, in holding one Bitcoin, that will cost me $29,852. I don't have that, right? I don't have 29,000 to buy entire Bitcoin. So you do what's called dollar cost average. And we've been doing that. It gets rid of the volatility. And let me just share a little bit with you because a lot of people said, well, what if I had to start dollar cost averaging when Bitcoin was at 68,000? Because, ladies and gentlemen, Bitcoin did peak at 68,000 a year and some change ago. And if you bought an equal amount, which was that dollar cost averaging that I was talking about for the last year and a half, an equal amount. I don't know what that equal amount is. I'm not going to get into that right now, break it down. But if you did that every week and you just turned positive, you would have just turned positive on your investment because it was 68,000 and then it went down to 16. So that means the value of what you bought at 68, you still held that entire 100 million Satoshis. The value of it just changed from 68,000 to 16. But at 16, if you had kept buying the same amount of Satoshis without wavering, without taking a deep breath and feeling like you've lost anything, again, you would have just broken even right now, because right now it's at about 30. So it was in between. You kept buying, you would have broken even. And dollar cost averaging really does help you with the volatility. It doesn't eliminate it because it's still there, but it allows you to participate when the price of Bitcoin is low and when the price of Bitcoin is high. And so one of the things that is also being asked of me is what I think a price prediction is. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to continue to say nobody has a crystal ball. We don't know what is going to happen with this monetary system, period, let alone what's going to happen with Bitcoin, what's going to happen with the price of the dollar. But we can take precautions to ensure that we're going to be safe. And so I think that by the end of 2023, we'll probably be right back, in my opinion, somewhere around that high that we saw, which is about 68. And for those of you right now that are sitting back, kind of twiddling your fingers, trying to figure out if you want to get involved, you're going to get involved, in my opinion, sooner or later. It's just maybe you get a couple of Satoshis now while it's low, and then as it's raising in price, it rises in price, you're going to continue to do your dollar cost average. But ladies and gentlemen, in 2024, we have been talking about the Bitcoin halving. This is when the production of Bitcoin is cut in half. So it will not be 6.25 coin that are produced every single 10 minutes. It's going to go down to 1.25 something. So they're going to be less Bitcoin. This is designed to be a scarce asset. And so I really feel that by the end of 2024, and I don't even know, whether I say it or not, it's going out on the airwaves. So they're going to say I put it in stone. But I will say this, I really feel like one Bitcoin that today is worth 29,000 will definitely be worth 100,000 as we roll out of 2024. And so why am I so sure about that? All of the economic issues that are going on are forcing people to go and find a safe place for their money. And because Bitcoin is the only decentralized coin out of 20, 25, 29,000, 30,000 cryptocurrencies, it, in my opinion, is the place to be. There's no centralized authority. And some of the things that we're going to see start going on with this Fed Now program and this CBDC program, people are okay with what they're listening to right now. But when it's actually implemented, I guarantee you, many of you that are on listening to this show right now are not going to be very happy about some of the things that are going on. And so you're going to be looking for some of the things that you've been hearing me talk about. And that's the Bitcoin, that's the gold, that's the real estate. Those are the things that we are really needing to really focus our time on. And so some people say, why not stocks, Najah? Why not stocks? I just don't feel like stocks are going to continue to perform well based on what's happening in the macro around the world, based on what's happening right here with individuals and families and just the everyday person. I just don't think that stocks are going to do well too much longer. And so that's, again, my opinion. I'm not a financial advisor. I can't give you any type of financial advice, but you've got to look at everything that's going on around and understand that the major thing that has held up the stock market all these years, and I'm not saying all these years, let's just talk about from COVID until today, has been our ability to print more money to give to people for some reason or another. And when they feel like they've got free money, then they go out and they spend freer because they didn't feel like they earned it or anything like that. And so when we look at all of these things in its totality, it really says something about how and why the systems have allowed people to win. And again, money does not disappear, it just changes hands. So if they're giving out more loans for businesses because you kept your employees during COVID, that gives people the opportunity to buy properties and invest and do all these other things aside of what they need to be doing for their business, but they're getting themselves ready for a lot of this money that's changing hands. And we need to do that too. And I just want to take a second to share with the listeners, maybe you need to do some reassessment of what you have right now. And maybe you're somebody that has, again, some additional property, or even you have a property that you may be able to do something out of the box with. There are just so many different, I'll call them side hustles, that we really need to start paying attention to, because as money changes hands, money's going to come in different forms for different things. People like to buy, they need things, they want to do parties, they want to do all sorts of things. And one of the things that we are doing here is just really taking a look at what's at our fingertips and what we can do to bring in some extra income aside of what we're already doing. So what does that look like? For us, it looks like doing some upgrades in order to be able to do weddings and things of that sort at one of our properties. And it looks like us being able to do Airbnb, if it's not the entire house, maybe even just a room or two at a location. And so some of the things that we're looking at are meant to bring in extra money. And when I get that extra fiat, what do? I take that extra fiat and I am stacking it away in gold and stacking it away in Bitcoin. And that is the way that I feel that I'm going to remain safe in a time of uncertainty, because we have an uncertain time coming, whether you believe it or not. It is here. And, again, I'm looking at the New York Times. I'm reading USA Today. I'm looking at some of these other news periodicals that are talking about all of the things that are happening behind the scenes that nobody is really talking about on mainstream, like CNN and things of that sort. And so I want to give you all too a book to read, a book that I actually ordered on Amazon. And I am going to make sure that we're actually talking about it, because it really kind of plays out or shares with us what it looks like with this United States dollar. And we've got to get a handle on this. And I think a lot of times we need to hear a little bit more about some of these things from other people. I know we say it all the time. When other people say things, most of the time it's validated. And I wish it wasn't so, but it definitely is most of the time. And so we're going to get the name of the book. I'm going to make sure that you have it. And we're going to make sure that we can at least have a small conversation about the book and why we need to kind of understand what's going on outside of our little bubbles, because it's really important, ladies and gentlemen. And with this Fed Now program, I'm going to just jump into that before we get into our news, traffic, and sports and things of that sort. But this Fed Now program, it is going to be implemented whether you like it or not. And I think it's going to be the pre-plumbing, in my opinion, for the central bank digital currency. But that's not it in its totality, because the central bank digital currency is different from Fed Now. Fed Now is going to modernize interbank payments, making the bank payments 24/7, 365 days a week. So what is that equivalent to? It's equivalent to what we're able to do in Bitcoin. And so they've got to keep up with the Bitcoiners, not with the Joneses, but the Bitcoiners. So they came up with Fed Now, and it's going to allow them to stop using their ACH payments, which started in the 1970s. Yikes. That was a long time ago. It's old, it's antiquated, and it's lethargic. I'm not old, antiquated, and lethargic. I was born in 70, so I shouldn't say it like that. But technology changes, and so should the on-ramps and the rails that are being used for our money. And so they're updating that. So the Fed Now program right now is optional for banks, but one of the things that really brought to the feds some attention was during COVID. It highlighted how unmodern their technology was. And what they had to do was they had to put an acceleration on Fed Now. And they had to get developers to work on this program. And so the main rationale for central bank digital currency is for instant 24/7 bank payments. I'm going to go a step further and say surveillance and making sure that we're doing exactly what they want us to do, when they want us to do it, and how they want us to do it. But this thing called Fed Now, which is going to be implemented way before the central bank digital currency, will ultimately, what they are hoping is stop them from bringing out the CBDC, because the feds don't have control of the CBDC. When we come forward, ladies and gentlemen, after news, sports, and traffic, we'll jump more into the conversation. This is KBLA Talk 1580.
Simplify the night and simply say it's like, oh, we're going to learn about Bitcoin, but it's so much bigger than that. The blackwallstreet.com was created by you and Hill Harper. Why?
Well, first of all, the money leaves our community right now in about 7 hours. And Hill and I recognize that if we don't do something in this new digital space, that the money is going to leave within 6 to 7 seconds.
I think one of the biggest surprises is just to see how many people, as you stated, here in the U.S. don't have access to just internet. Just basic things that we take for granted. And so I need to go back and rethink, look at and evaluate all these cities I just left and really see what blockchain programs we need to bring to make sure they get the internet.
It's expensive to be poor. Now, we can actually change that if we think about how powerful our spending is and how we use our dollars. And in particular, how we use our digital dollars. No. So I'm going to give it back to Najah Roberts, who is going to break down the reason why we need to use, particularly in our community, we need to use cryptocurrency as a means for building wealth and as a tool
just
for
watch
building
it,
wealth.
see what it does. But the only way you lose in Bitcoin is when you sell your Satoshis. Because I bought Bitcoin one time at the height, it was like $17,000. Then it slammed down to 4,000. And it stayed 4,000 for a painful year or so. And I'm telling you, it was painful because I felt like I lost that money. But now,
and you actually even have a camp to teach kids how to be financially literate in this new crypto world. So that's great. You could speak to us like those children. Yeah, because that's what we need.
Absolutely.
Let's start very basic. What is cryptocurrency? And then also with Walmart deciding that they're going to have their own. I mean, how does it have value if somebody can just pop up and decide, hey, we're going to have a crypto now?
You know what? The biggest thing that we all need to know is that money can be anything that someone is willing to accept.
Most importantly, I'm here today to support Najah and to say that we are honored and humbled to have her on our station. I feel like we're doing a public service by educating, by enlightening, by empowering our people. I want to wish her and Hill all the best on this 41-city tour that they're taking across the country, but I didn't want to miss walking across the street today to say hello to my friend Hill Harper and to tell Najah how proud of her we are for being a part of our station every day.
Kind of disgruntled with how financial services was working for our community specifically. So what's happening is we have been perpetually doing every single thing they told us. But y'all, I'm here to tell y'all, if it ain't changed in 158 years after slavery ended, it ain't gonna change unless we get in our own system. And the system is Bitcoin specifically. I'm not in here talking about get rich quick. I'm talking about it's gonna take us 5 to 10 years of playing chess. This money game is a chess game. This ain't checkers, and they ain't playing with us. So if you really, really want to do something for yourself, do something for your kids, do something for your family, start strategically thinking about how to put $6 away worth of Bitcoin. We're not telling you to run out and get 30,000. I am actually out here begging our community to do something different than we've been doing, because they don't care about us. They are not coming to save us.
Welcome forward. So let me just make sure that we continue to make this distinction, because as I listen to social media, as I listen to news commentators that don't understand what in the world they are talking about, they are again lumping central bank digital currencies together with Fed Now, FEDNOW. And FedNow is a service that creates or allows instant payment infrastructure by the Federal Reserve. Remember that private entity that we talked about? Federal Reserve. That is the Federal Reserve Bank. They are coming out with FedNow, and they're going to start in the next couple of weeks utilizing it. And they're going to allow all of the financial institutions across the United States, be it small or large, to use this safe and efficient instant payment service. Again, no more doing a wire on Friday and them saying, okay, you missed the 2 o'clock deadline, so the people won't get the money until Monday morning whenever they get it. No more of that. It is going to be instant, efficient, and 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That is what Fed Now instant payments is about, period. Central bank digital currencies, ladies and gentlemen, is what will take the place of the paper dollar, the quarters, dimes, nickels, and pennies that you hold in your possession. Totally different things. So please do not think one is going to replace the other, or one is going to do so well that the other one won't be implemented. It absolutely will, because a central bank digital currency is just like another cryptocurrency. So you've got Bitcoin, you got Ethereum, you got XRP, you got Dogecoin, you got Shiba Inu, you have a CBDC. That is what it's going to be, a central bank digital currency for the United States. So at some point, we're really feeling as though they're going to do the same thing that they did in 1933 when they called all the money in to be turned in to the Federal Reserve Bank, its agents, its locations, wherever. You had 3 weeks to do it. So you're going to have to bring that money in. And if you have any money in the bank, they're going to give you a central bank digital currency wallet. And that amount of money that you have in the bank is not going to disappear. They're going to keep it. Well, it's just numbers anyway on their banking system, right? Because they've loaned it out already, if you really want to be true about it. But if you have any dollars in your possession, you're going to have to actually turn them in, and you're going to have to convert them to central bank digital currencies so that you can go to the grocery store and to the gas station and all of those things. So is central bank digital currency going to coexist with Bitcoin? Absolutely. Just like right now, fiat dollars, pennies, dimes, nickels, quarters still coexist with gold and silver and real estate and all these different things that you can actually trade someone for goods and services or trade for food or trade for whatever. It is a form of money. And so central bank digital currencies are going to do just fine. And if I'm forced to take central bank digital currencies for whatever services I'm rendering to the community or for rent of my properties or all of those things, all I'm going to do is do the same thing I'm doing right now and putting them or transferring them or trading them into a form that I feel most comfortable and safe about. And if they ban, I don't think they're going to ban Bitcoin, but they're doing a really good job on Operation Choke Point. I have to say that. And we'll probably, it's a couple of shows we got to do. We got to talk about OPEC, and we definitely have to talk about Operation Choke Point. And that is a real thing. And that is what is happening right now. They're cutting off the on ramps and off ramps from fiat money to Bitcoin or any other cryptocurrencies, and then from your Bitcoin and cryptocurrency into fiat. They're making it difficult for us to be able to transact, and that's cutting us off at the knees, and that's Operation Choke Point. So we'll talk about that and we'll share really what that looks like. And remember, I've said several times that there's going to be a need for a catastrophe for them to step in and save you, right? This is what happens. We have 9/11 and then they step in and then they save us from something that I don't know. Conspiracy theorists say that they knew it was happening, but there was a whole group of people that didn't go to work that day. But that's nevertheless. I just realized that everything that's implemented in this country happens after a disaster when they have to quote unquote protect us. And I really feel like Sam Bankman-Fried now in hindsight was all that they wanted it to be in order to come in and save us with this new central bank digital currency and this Fed Now program, and everything that they need is in place to make sure that they protect us from them. I don't know, but they're going to protect us, and you rest assured that they're going to protect us. And so I'm looking and I'm wondering now if this whole FTX debacle was allowed to happen because they knew that it would be so catastrophic that people were going to be calling for regulation and putting things into place. And this is a great opportunity to do it. But the reason I wasn't really on the side of this was an accident because we as a Bitcoin community saw him coming a long time ago. I was even saying on the radio he was getting ready to take advantage of the black folks in the Bahamas. And I knew it. And then I said in Chicago, he was going to take advantage of poor, unsuspecting people. And he did just that. And they knew it too, because I wasn't the only person saying it. So I just really feel like they set that up. And they just had this massive catastrophe so they can say, see, I told you. And so this is now why we have to implement these things, because we don't want that to happen again. And if that is true, then you're good because you're doing exactly the right thing, really figuring out how to get yourself safe till the dust settles and you really find out if the math is mathing after they're handing out the central bank digital currencies. Again, I don't think the Fed Now program is going to have a big, if you're doing like us, and that's wiring probably every day, all the time, just trying to get payments and doing things because we have a Bitcoin exchange, our Bitcoin bank, I don't think it's going to affect you much. So it's not a whole lot to talk about, but I just want to make sure that you all know the difference and that Bitcoin will be able to coexist because people are still going to accept it. people are not going to always accept the central bank digital currency that comes out of the United States because they've got their e-rupee, they've got their e-yuan, they've got all their other central bank digital currencies in other countries. So they're not going to utilize ours, especially since they're dumping the dollar right now in many different ways. And again, a lot of you don't think that that's happening. Please start doing some research. You don't have to listen to me. Just go look and figure out what these presidents of these countries are doing, because it is just continuing to, the numbers are starting to add up, and we're becoming, this dollar has been weaponized for a very long time, and people are just fed up and tired. And every day I get off the radio, I go and find one other country that is saying, you know what, no more. We're going to go ahead and play it safe and do something different. And it's eventually going to hit us here at home. And so we don't know what that looks like. So when we come forward, we will jump into what is happening with Bitcoin mining, which is the creation of Bitcoin. Remember, I said there's something called Operation Choke Point, but this may be a part of it. It may not, but Bitcoin mining in Texas just took a hit at the knee when you think about the Bitcoin space. So when we come forward, we will talk about Bitcoin mining and what you need to do to protect yourself if somebody's offering you to do Bitcoin mining. Just make sure you know that 9 times out of 10, they may be scamming you. And I don't want anybody to get caught up in that. So when we come forward, ladies and gentlemen, this is KBLA Talk 1580.
Simplify the night and simply say it's like, oh, we're going to learn about Bitcoin. But it's so much bigger than that. The blackwallstreet.com was created by you and Hill Harper. Why?
Well, first of all, the money leaves our community right now in about 7 hours. And Hill and I recognize that if we don't do something in this new digital space, that the money is going to leave within 6 to 7 seconds.
I think one of the biggest surprises is just to see how many people, as you stated, here in the U.S. don't have access to just internet. Just basic things that we take for granted. And so I need to go back and rethink, look at and evaluate all these cities I just left and really see what blockchain programs we need to bring to make sure they get the internet.
It's expensive to be poor. Now, we can actually change that if we think about how powerful our spending is and how we use our dollars. And in particular, how we use our digital dollars. No. So I'm going to give it back to Najah Roberts, who is going to break down the reason why we need to use, particularly in our community, we need to use cryptocurrency as a means for building wealth and as a tool
just
for
watch
building
it,
wealth.
see what it does. But the only way you lose in Bitcoin is when you sell your Satoshis. Because I bought Bitcoin one time at the height, it was like $17,000. Then it slammed down to 4,000. And it stayed 4,000 for a painful year or so. And I'm telling you, it was painful because I felt like I lost that money. But now
and you actually even have a camp to teach kids how to be financially literate in this new crypto world. So that's great. You could speak to us like those children. Yeah, because that's what we need.
Absolutely.
Let's start very basic. What is cryptocurrency? And then also with Walmart deciding that they're going to have their own. I mean, how does it have value if somebody can just pop up and decide, hey, we're going to have a crypto now?
You know what? The biggest thing that we all need to know is that money can be anything that someone is willing to accept.
Most importantly, I'm here today to support Najah and to say that we are honored.
All right, welcome forward. So let's jump into the market update really quick, because Bitcoin is trading at $29,893. We hit 30,000 a couple times. And again, my phone rings off the hook by people that are excited that when they bought at 14 and 15 just a couple of months ago, they've got about, they've doubled their money based on the amount of Satoshis that they hold. Again, no Satoshis get added unless you purchase them, but the value of those Satoshis goes up and down. So Bitcoin is trading at 29,901 as we speak. And in the last hour, it's up 0.10%. And in the last 24 hours, it's down 0.95%. In the last 7 days, it's up 6.25%. And ladies and gentlemen, I am still dollar cost averaging, probably more than I should. I am foregoing a whole lot of things to ensure that I have my Bitcoin and my gold. And we're in the process of working on a whole system to help us close the wealth gap some more. I think I just really personally feel, and nobody can really correct me in this space, because I feel like Bitcoin specifically is what is going to help us close the wealth gap. And when I looked statistically at how much real estate we own as a community versus how much real estate we owned after segregation, I see that we haven't gotten anywhere. And do you want to know why I'm excited about that fact? Because we've had so many things like redlining and the inability to get loans and the inability to buy properties because it's right on the deed that color people shouldn't have real estate, and et cetera, et cetera. But right here, right now in 2023, we got funding. We've got all of these things that we need that can ultimately work hand in hand with us having diversified portfolios with hard assets to really close this wealth gap. And so as we move towards making sure and ensuring that all of our youth have houses, and those of us that already have properties and understand the game, changing the game based on some of the new technology that we're learning, I think we're unstoppable. And I'm just excited about that. And so I'm hoping that you all are paying attention as we look at these different asset classes and how they pertain to you and what you can actually be doing. And I haven't done any posting on my social media lately, probably the last week and a half, because I've been engulfed with the actual structure of making sure that our community is good. And I feel so super excited. I'm just going to tell y'all a secret. I go to bed sometimes at 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm up at 5:45 and I'm getting it, and I'm tired and I'm sleepy, but I know it is just for a small period of time, because what we have embarked upon, what the Most High has put in our lap, and the people that He has dropped together to work together that are tirelessly and unselfishly trying to make sure that our community gets what our fair share is. I'm just super excited about that. And actually, I talk about cryptocurrency all the time in these meetings. However, we do know that diversification is key. And so if we were looking at the cryptocurrency space and somebody wanted me to tell them what they should be diversified in as it relates to the 30,000 cryptocurrencies, I would say, you know what? Get yourself some Bitcoin. And then once you get yourself some Bitcoin, let me show you what to do with your Bitcoin. Not all of it, just a teeny piece of it, so that you can earn some extra Bitcoin as you go along. And then we leave it at that. And then if we looked at some of these other asset classes, there's things that you need to immediately get out of, because once our dollar has the little issue that we're anticipating, a lot of the things that you know well won't be there anymore. And so why leave that to chance? And so as we look at Ethereum is supposed to do this upgrade. So a lot of people are talking about Ethereum and they want to get involved with it. Ethereum is what we are going to be utilizing for We talked about tokenization of buildings. And so it's going to be off the Ethereum blockchain. So the Ethereum blockchain is different from the Bitcoin blockchain. They're two totally separate things. And every single coin almost that you can come across, they have their own blockchain. That means they have a CEO. That means that CEO can say how many coins can be created and all these different things. Bitcoin is the only one that is decentralized and cannot change its code. And nobody can go back in and say, okay, we're no longer going to have 21 million. We're going to have whatever we want to have. And so you got to be careful with that. But Ethereum is trading right now and it's green all the way across because they're anticipating something great to happen with Ethereum. And it's at $1,909. And it's up in the last hour, 0.28%, in the last 24 hours, 0.72%, in the last 7 days, 0.13%. And I'm excited about that as well for those individuals that believe in Ethereum and its power. And again, they can do what they do. I'm just going to utilize it as a tool to help us tokenize buildings across this United States, if we even need to do that, because it looks like the Most High is just pulling people into our space that have access to all kinds of funding. And this is getting real, ladies and gentlemen. It's getting real. I'm super excited. I just can't wait to be able to share. But when we come forward, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to talk about some of the things that are happening with me as far as my tour and those things. And I'll get you up to date on a couple of other things before we get finished. So this is KBLA Talk 1580.
So what's happening is we have been perpetually doing every single thing they told us. But y'all, I'm here to tell y'all, if it ain't changed in 158 years after slavery ended, it ain't gonna change unless we get in our own system. And the system is Bitcoin specifically. I'm not in here talking about get rich quick. I'm talking about it's gonna take us 5 to 10 years of playing chess. This money game is a chess game. This ain't checkers, and they ain't playing with us. So if you really, really want to do something for yourself, do something for your kids, do something for your family, start strategically thinking about how to put $6 away worth of Bitcoin. We're not telling you to run out and get 30,000. I am actually out here begging our community to do something different than we've been doing, because they don't care about us. They are not coming to save us.
All right, welcome forward, welcome forward. So I have a little bit of just, I guess, I don't know, it's bad news to me, but I will not be going on tour this year just for security concerns. My security and several other individuals are very concerned with what happened with Mr. Bob Lee up in Sacramento, along with several other people that are in the cryptocurrency space across this world that have unfortunately succumb to their demise and are no longer with us here on earth. And so a lot of people are really concerned about what's going on in the cryptocurrency space, concerned with all the indictments and different things that are going on. And just with so much uncertainty, my staff and my team just decided, you know what, I think it's a great idea. If you just forego this year and do your third annual in 2024, when you know that things are a little bit safer and, you know, so many things are not left open, because there are a lot of things, ladies and gentlemen. I actually pulled out a marker board and started writing out all the things that are taking place that are converging at once. And it's really shocking how much stuff is happening. But we've got to be safe. We'd rather be safe than sorry. And so that is what we have decided. So we won't be going on tour, but we will be having events to make sure that we share this information. We're going to continue to disseminate any and all information that we can. We will be touring across country in a different type of way as we talk about digital assets, as we talk about real estate assets or hard assets, gold and real estate, things of that sort. We're going to hit a couple of different cities, and I will make sure that you all know when we're there. So if you're interested in participating and buying properties after us sitting with mayors and council people, we will make sure that you're involved in that. And so, ladies and gentlemen, we are making way for the D.L. Hughley Show. And I want to thank each and every one of you for rocking with me here on Ahead of the Crypto Curve, where we are creating Satoshi millionaires, one family at a time, one day at a time, one Bitcoin at a time, one Satoshi at a time. And ladies and gentlemen, that means you.
You're listening to Najah Roberts on Ahead of the Crypto Curve. Please follow her on all social media platforms at Najah Roberts. No underscores, no dots, no numbers, just Najah Roberts. Let's close the wealth gap. It's our turn. This is KBLA Talk 1580. Learn or get left behind. Create your own economy. Let's get ahead of the crypto curve.